I'm Shelly Turner with the Builderall team. In this video, we're going to work on the header of our web page. But before we get started, I want to go ahead and review the header and then talk about what type of page this is. So this area right here is the header, and you can see that it's got our logo on it, it's got some information about our company, it's got the social media bar, and it's also got a menu. This menu is called an anchor menu, and this page is called an anchor page. And the reason it's called that is because it's a very basic web page. It's not a full-blown website, because this is the only page that we'll really be working with inside the site. This menu right here, when you click these items, it just takes you to a different location on this page called an anchor point. If I click About Us, it takes me down to the About Us area. If I go back to the top and click Services, it takes us to the Services area. And if I go back to the top again and click Contact, it takes us to a different area on the same page called Contact Us. And then if I go back to the top again and click Location, it takes me to the location area, and I can also see the footer. So as you can see, it's a single page that has multiple anchor points. We connect the items on the menu to the anchor point that's on the page. So we'll be building all of that in our website. So let's go ahead and jump into our editor and start working on the header, and we'll start working on building our page. So I've jumped into my Pixel Perfect editor, and I'm in the same exact website that we put together in the first video. For this box, I have several uses for this box, so I'm just going to right click it and choose to hide, and if I need to use it later, I can actually pull it in. So one of the first things I'm going to do is edit the header to the color that I want for my website. And remember that that color was kind of a reddish color. Well, I've captured that color using a Google Chrome extension that's an eyedropper extension, and it allowed me to capture the exact color. So what I'm going to do is go ahead and go up to the header area, and this is where we're going to work in this video. I'm going to right click the header, and I'm going to go to Appearance. Now we've got several header options. I'm going to go to Header 1 Custom, and I'm going to click that, and then I'm going to go to the gear to edit the style. And I have 4 options here. The first one is, if I click it, the header is going to be transparent. There's going to be no color assigned to it, no background color. It's whatever color the background is of the actual page. I can also choose this one right here. If I click it, what happens is I can change the color that's in between the grids, and then I can have a different color outside of the grid lines. The next one is a single background. That allows me to have one solid background across the entire width of the header. And then the next one is, if I click that one, it allows transparent outside of the grids and then color on the inside. What I want is my color to go all the way across the page. So I'm going to click this one right here, the single background. And then I have options. When I click that, I can put an image in the background of the header. I can choose a color for the background, and I can even add a shadow to the background. I'm going to just choose color, so I'm going to click this, and then I'm going to choose the background color. Right now it's white. I'm going to click that white right there, and I can choose any one of these colors, but I actually have the code for the color that I want, so I'm going to choose More Colors. And right here, I'm going to highlight and paste that color that I want. This is the exact match of the original website. Once I get that color there, I'm just going to close that element window. And now I've changed the color of my background of my header to match the page that I'm building. The next thing I'm going to do is add the logo. To do that, I need to go to plus, and I need to go to Image, and I'm just going to select the first image there. That adds an image, but it puts it in the body. And if you look at when I click and drag that image, the body area highlights. That means that when I drop that image, it's attached to the body area of this website. But if I click and drag and bring it up to the top into the header, you can see that the header highlights, and there's actually a border around the header. That means if I drop it, it's going to be on the header. Now, what's the significance of that? If I add this picture to the header, that means that every single page inside this layout is going to have this image on it. So let's go ahead and drop it on the header. When I do that, it gives me a warning that says I've made a change that affects every page on the website. And that change is that I added that image to the header, which means every single page is going to have that image on it in this layout. I'm okay with that. And to prevent this box from popping up every time I make a change like this, I'm going to just check mark this, do not show this message again, and then click OK, I got it. So now I've got this image on the header, and I'm going to change it to the logo. So I'm going to right click, and I'm going to go to Change Image. And this is my digital file repository. This is where I save all of my pictures that I need for my website. And I'm going to scroll down, and I'm going to find my fruit stand area. So I've created a folder that has all the pictures I need for my fruit stand. To create a folder, you just click Add Directory, and then once you add your directory, you can either upload your pictures directly into that folder, or you can click and drag them into that folder, whichever way you want to add them to your folder to keep them separate so you can find the pictures easily when you're creating your website. So the first thing I need is the logo, and that's this item right here. The logo is actually white, so it's hard to see, but I need to click right on that picture, and you'll see a small check mark. That means I've chosen that, and now I'm going to click Confirm. And now that image is actually added into my website. But you can see it's quite large, so I'm going to go ahead and grab this little circle right here. I'm going to click and drag it, and I'm going to make that image a little bit smaller. And I'm going to move it over to the left-hand side where I want it to be just like the original website that we looked at in the beginning. Also, if you take a look, I've got my grid lines on. This is going to remind me to try to keep everything important that I want the user to see inside these grid lines. So always be watching those grid lines. If they bother you when you're working, you can actually remove them by clicking the grid line button and then put them back when you need to see the grid lines again. Now I'm going to add the individual small icons that go on the top. And to do that, we can go to plus and image again, but it's actually easier if I take this image that's already there and just copy and paste it. So I'm just going to click on it to make sure it's active. Then I'm going to copy it by either holding down the control button and hitting C, or if I'm on a Mac, I'm going to hold the command button down and hit C. So I'm on a PC, so I'm going to do Control C, and then that copies it. It doesn't look like it's done anything, but if I hold Control and the letter V down, it will paste it for me. If you're on a Mac, it's Command V as in violin. So Control C and then Control V. And now I've got a copy of that image, and I can go ahead and right click and choose Change Image. And now I'm going to go back into my fruit stand folder, and I'm going to choose those little bitty icons that we have in that header area. So I choose the first one and confirm. And it's really big, so we're going to make it a little bit smaller. There we go. And now I'm just going to Control C and Control V to copy and paste. And I'm going to right click and I'm going to change the image. And I'm going to choose one of the other icons. I'm going to go into my fruit stand and choose this one and confirm. And then I'm going to Control C and Control V, right click, change image, go into my fruit stand and get the last little tiny icon and confirm. So now I've got my icons in there, and the next thing I want to do is add some text. Before I add any text, I want to go ahead and change the settings on my text. So I have everything preset, so I can just grab the text and I can go with it and I don't have to keep formatting the text. So to do that, I've already made a little text element that has the information I need. So I'm going to go to Show Hidden Elements, and what I did was create this text box and hide it so you couldn't see it. So I'm going to click Show Hidden Elements, and here is my hidden area that I had the textiles, and I'm just going to unhide it, And there are all my textiles that I'm going to be using during this training. So I'm just going to go ahead and set them up now. So I'm going to go into this text area and I'm going to click text. And then for text extra large, I'm going to click that. I'm going to change it. If you take a look, text extra large needs to be Engelbert 65. So I'm going to use the down arrow and I'm going to find Engelbert. And when I find it, I'm going to click that. And then the text size needs to be 65. Great. So now that one's set. I'll go to the next one, which is the title large. And if I click that one, this one needs to be Engelbert 49. And now I have that one set. Now the text medium needs to be Engelbert 28. I have that one set. Now the title small is Helvetica New Light 15. The body large is PT Sans 19. The body medium is PT Sans 15. And the body small is PT Sans 12. So now that I've got everything set, I'm going to right click this and hide it again so it's out of the way. And we made several changes, so I want to go ahead and click save and then save again. So now I can add my text box and I'm going to go ahead and click plus and text. And for this one, I'm going to choose body large. And it's dumped it into the body area, so I need to move it up into our header area. And it reminds us that we made a change that affects all the pages in this layout. And now I need to change that to the text that I want for each of these areas. And again, I've typed this up ahead of time to make it easy and hid it in the hidden area. So I'm going to click the hidden area and I'm going to choose header and I'm going to go ahead and reapply it. And I'm going to hide this box. And so this is the area where it has the address and the hours and the email address and all that. So I'm going to click in here. I'm going to highlight this area and I'm going to copy it. Then I'm going to double click in here. That puts my cursor in there. I'm going to highlight it all and then paste. And then I'm going to highlight it again and I'm going to change our text right here, text color, to white. And now that's ready. I'm going to make this box a little bit smaller. And we'll put this right here. Now that I've got that set the way I want to, I'm just going to click on that and I'm going to copy and paste it and put it beside the next one. And I'll copy and paste that one and put it beside the next one. So now we've got it working for us. So let's go ahead and put the right information in there. So I'm going to double click in here. I'm going to highlight this information and I'm going to paste it into this box. And I'll have to change the text again to white. And then the last one, I'm going to click and drag, highlight it and copy it, and then go in here and paste it. And then I will highlight it all and change the color to white. All right, so now everything's looking great, but you can see that it's really, really wonky. It's not lined up very well at all, and I need to make sure that it's lined up nice and neatly. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add my ruler there. So I've got a ruler on the top and a ruler on the right-hand side, and I'm going to go ahead and click on the right-hand side and put a grid line there, and I'm going to click and drag it until it's about where I want everything lined up. And now what I'm going to do is start moving things so that I'm happy with the way they're lined up. So I'm going to move this over and then move this up a little bit. There we go. And then we'll line this one up. And this grid line has a snap to, so when you get close to it, it will actually snap to it. And then this one, and snap to. So now you can see it's lined up a lot better, looks a lot neater. So now I can right click that grid line and it disappears. And so now I've got it lined up really nice and neatly. So I've used all that information. I'm going to right click it and hide it again to keep it out of my way. And then the next thing I'm going to do is add the social bar. So I'm going to go to plus, then I'm going to go to social. And we've got a lot of different things we can add in here, but what we're specifically looking for is the social bar. So I'm going to scroll down until I find the exact social bar that I want to use, which is this one right here. So I'm going to just click on it to add it to the website. And then I want to make it a little bit smaller. So I'm going to right click and I'm going to go to edit. And here's the size right here. So I'm just going to click this size to make it a bit smaller and then confirm. And now I can put this right here, kind of out of the way. I do want to get rid of my ruler so I can see my spacing really well. And I may have to put this up just a little bit. And then make this a little bit smaller to close it in. Let's do it a little bit more. Great. Now let's talk about how we can change that social media bar. So I'm going to right click it, and we already edited to make it smaller, but we can also change the spacing and we can change the position. Right now it's horizontal, but we could also make it vertical, meaning going up and down instead of laying across. And then we can right click again and go to image. And this is where I can change all the social media icons that are on this social media bar. So right now we've got Facebook, Twitter, Google+, YouTube, Pinterest, and Instagram. Let's say that we just didn't want the Instagram on there. So I just scroll down until I find the Instagram image, and then I just click that little red X, and then click OK, and it actually takes it away. If I confirm, then it changes the social media bar for me, and I can move it to where I want to on the header. Then I need to add all my Facebook links, the Twitter, the Google+, the YouTube, and the Pinterest. So I right click on there and I go to image again. And to change the links, I just click right on the image, and it allows you to put a title in there. That's so that when you hover over it, it shows you that it's for Facebook. When you hover over the Twitter, it shows you that it's for Twitter. Then it actually allows you to put an alt image. This is the alternate text that will be displayed if the image doesn't load. And then you can put the link to the actual social media area that you're sending them to. So this one's Facebook. So you put your Facebook link in there. My personal link, I can put that in there. Once I get my link in there, I can change all of the other ones. So I'm going to click the Twitter and put the Twitter title, the Twitter alt image, and the Twitter link for my Twitter account. And I do the same for the Google+, YouTube, and for Pinterest. Once I get all of those set, I just click confirm. And now everything's set. The only thing that we have not done is we haven't added the menu here, but we'll do that after we've added the anchor points. So we'll do that later on. So we've now just finished up the header area, and we're ready to move on to the body area to start building that. So I'll see you in the next video.